Hi, folks. Welcome back to Your World with Prakash Kapila. So this week, as promised, we will have a very good show for you. And wherever you are, this is going to affect you because we're going to talk about how to come back from Corona. As a business, how to cope up with Corona. You have already done so for so long. But right now, what we need to do is to come out of it and get back our customers. So this is the most important thing for any business and any country. Actually, every country needs to have its business run as normal by miracle or something. So we do understand that the business as it used to be has changed, right? So the sooner we understand this, the sooner we get to our uh, conclusion that we can't do business as we used to do before, and we need to change and we need to adapt. That is one thing that we need to understand. The second thing is about how the other companies, what are the things that other companies have done for their own survival and prosperity, and can we find any similarities between our present scenario and our future scenarios that uh, have happened before? So, what future scenario can we make ourselves based on the past scenarios? We'll talk about those things. First and foremost, the corona has affected every business. So no matter who you are, how big you are, how small you are, there are no winners in this. Everybody is a loser. So when such things happen, we need to understand how to overcome what has happened and how to learn from it and how to prosper from it. So, in if we take this into consideration, the same kind of effect we had in 1915 with the epidemic, right? And 1929, the businesses started crumbling across the world, and a lot of people faced difficulties, and every business was in doldrums. So the same thing happened in dot com, albeit for only IT companies, but still the effect was same. Whether you're a big IT company or a small IT company, or you just were an IT professional or software professional, you got hit by the dot com bubble. We shouldn't call it bubble, we should call it depression. Overall, general economy was okay, but the information technology got into depression. So, how did the companies come out of it? Gives us a kind of blueprint that can be used across. So, we examine few companies like that. So, if you look at it, who are the companies that got really, really affected with .com, and how did they come out of it? The first thing that comes into all our minds is Amazon. Apple is the other one. So Amazon, Apple, and the big companies that got affected and didn't recover as much as people could, as much as their past glory was like IBM. So these we will look into these companies and see how each of these have come out of it. What can we learn from that, right? So what did Amazon do? Right? So Amazon was only giving books around 2000. Uh, it was only serving books, and it was giving books on a massive scale, and obviously the scale got affected, and the services got affected because of the liquidity crisis. So before the real dot-com crash hit, like March of 2000 or March, April of 2000, the effects were felt right from the November, December timeframe of 99, 2000. They were seeing that the sales were getting reduced, a lot of competition was coming in, and a lot of people were doing the same thing. And there was a lot of euphoria, and all of a sudden, people started questioning the business models. People started questioning whether whether all these things are really required. Once upon a time, they were thinking Amazon and Barnes and Noble are not at all a competitors. Barnes and Noble is far ahead, and nobody can beat it. Brick and mortar companies have their longevity, have their scalability, and all those things. And since what is liquidity? Liquidity means the ability to do the business, regardless of your sales. Whether the sales come down, you still are doing business as you are in the business as you used to be, right? You can scale up as much as you need to. So what happened was around January, February, Amazon gave up a huge amount of shares and um, gave debentures, bonds, and then raised its liquidity. Okay. So once the liquidity is raised from a normal position they had to a very high level liquidity, then the sustainability all comes into picture. So people will start understanding. People will start thinking that okay, this company, I can trust the company. The difference is the person and a company. Even if the person is one person company, once people start trusting the company has got a life of its own. So these big teams of these Amazon were then entrusted to say that hey, we cannot survive like this. We need to figure out some way where we can survive, sustain, and gain market share. That means more customers. I want more customers, I want more money, and I want more of this market share, and therefore the sustainability. So financially, they created a huge pool of money for themselves, and then they reduce the expenses by reducing the salary and increasing the share component, right? So the people who were given big salaries were then given more shares and lesser salaries. The salaries went into as share components so that the employees were also happy. First thing, you need to keep your employees happy. You need to keep your customers happy first. Then you need to have the ability to survive any of the downturns with the financial strength. And then comes the employee happiness, where the employee should also feel that they are a part of the solution, not part of the problem. They should not feel insecure that they may lose their job, they may lose a lot of things. Because what happens is, if the employee thinks that they may lose their job, then a kind of uh, closeness comes into the mindset. They don't explore new things. They don't come out with new stuff. So in that scenarios, what will happen is the innovation comes down. What did Amazon do? Number one, it increased its financial capacity. Number two, it created lot of innovation uh, efforts where they created a very small teams, pizza teams. That's what they call. A pizza team is basically a team where couple of two pizzas are enough to feed the team as a lunch. So when you create a small teams, and when you say to those small teams, you have full uh, freedom. You can think about whatever you want. You can do whatever project you want. You can come up with ideas that can help the company. So what will happen? There will be a lot of competing teams competing on the same idea. Teams that are competing on the same idea, doing their own way of delivering the stuff. Uh, that thereby creating more and more productivity. So the overall productivity will start increasing. So what did these teams come up with? Number one, they said let's just not sell books, let's sell everything. Okay. Number two, why can't we create whatever we have created for ourselves? Why can't we do this for others? The web services thing came into picture. Then also there was this effort in trying to make small businesses sell from their own website. Okay, so we are selling books. Let's help our competitors also sell the books along with us. And then they said, okay, why can't we come up with our own content? Then like video content. Then they came up with Prime membership, right? And then they came up with fast delivery. So Prime membership, fast delivery, video content, audio content, our own books, our own authors, our own plays, our own serials. So all those things were all in the pipeline, and that happened in 2000. That happened when the company was thinking that we don't have future. All the things that you're seeing right now in 2020, Amazon transformed them around 2000, 20 years ago, because there was a depression in the IT industry, in their field. They started adapting to the new techniques, adapting new things, coming out with new stuff. First of all, they enabled the financial stability, number one. Second, they created employee morale. Number three is they adapted into new arenas. Number four, they helped their own competitors. And most important of all, they did not lay off left and right, right? They didn't say, okay, we have this much money, this will sustain us for say 5 years or 6 years. So well, let's remove half of our employees, then we can survive for 10 years. No, they didn't do like that. What they did was they said, let us increase our finance even though we are giving up on our shares. So let's increase the financial capacity, and let's not remove the employees. Let's reorient the employees. So the employees who were doing something were reoriented to do something else. Okay. So that's how the adaptability and the skills and the talent maneuvering, that's what we call, um, where the skill sets improve on a particular person, individual employees, and they will cumulatively help the whole company as such. So your Prime membership, you're helping other customers to sell the same books, and then moving into groceries, moving into other things, was a slow process. It didn't happen overnight. Overnight, they didn't say, oh, Prime, this, that, this. No. What they said, they put them into a pipeline. They said, okay, let's secure our customers first. Then we'll secure our finances. Then we'll secure our employees. Then we'll come up with alternatives to help our competitors. Then we will do the Prime. Then we'll do the video. Then we'll do the authoring of books ourselves. So like that, they over a period of time, they started changing, and the web services started around 2010, right? 2010, 2012. So that's how they transformed over a period of time. Obviously, if you are launching anything, it won't hit at the same time, but over a period of time, it will increase. So that is what we can learn from Amazon. So flexibility, adaptability, financial strength, the the moving of the skilled labor into different increasing the skill set and the scope of the employees. And then don't do any layoffs. Layoffs are the worst thing that you can do right now. Try to figure out how you can reuse the existing employees. Try to figure out how you can come out with new ways of doing things with the existing employees. The employees can learn a lot of things, and it takes a very small effort to make the employees do different things. So how did the companies, how can a small company adopt all these things? For example, if you are a restaurant, right, a local restaurant, what can you do? First thing is you have to keep track of your customers. You have to maintain your link with your customers. If you break that link, then it is very difficult to again come back to the same stage. So whoever your customers are, try to interact with them, try to connect with them, and then say that we are also trying to understand, we are also trying to come out with new ways of helping you. And then your employees, use your employees in maybe delivery instead of just waiting. Now the new waiter is someone who can deliver the food to the person. So now you don't need Uber Eats or someone else. You could just make the food yourself and deliver it across around your vicinity. So your restaurant is not, your restaurant or your hotel is not just the four walls that you have. It could grow enormously. It could, once you say, I can deliver things to you, then anybody can order, and their home is your restaurant. So think about it like that. Second one, use technology. Embrace technology, my dear folks. Technology is going to help you. It is the only thing that can withstand this COVID and still perform. So many, if you're a jewelry store, if you're a restaurant, if you're a small tailor shop, any of those things, have your own website, have your own customer interactions through the phone calls, website, or showcasing of your products, uh, and sending mobile advertisements to all the people. So try to use the technology as much as possible. Go around with your customers, see what they go around means try to interact with your customers, see what they want, adapt to what their real needs are, and then you will find a different ball game altogether. It need not be that everybody have to come to you. You can go to other people. So, and the most important thing is sanitize the trust you gain to the customers, how much trust factor is there, and how you can gain more and more trust, how can you gain more credit worthiness from your customers. So if you wear masks, if you wear gloves, if you show that you are very much in control, and COVID cannot affect you because you are taking a lot of precautions, then you will have a more credit worthiness, more trustworthiness from your customers. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back with a short break about what did the companies do in 2000 crisis that made them fall and not recover back. So when you not only do you need to know how the companies have been successful, you need to know what company how the companies have failed, so that you don't do the same mistake. So we'll look into two companies that have failed and that have not reacted properly to the external circumstances, and they failed, or they didn't come back to the same old glory that they had. Around 2000 time frame, IBM was the biggest monolith out there. It was well ahead in servers, it was well ahead in laptops, it was well ahead in computer and PC based business. So it had all of its components in a very profitable position. And what did they do in 2000 is actually a big saga, which they didn't recoup till 2010, 2012. Right? They were just playing around with old technologies uh, and were not in the forefront. So what did they do? They just laid off lots of people. They cut down on human resources. They cut down on new technologies. So IBM was one of the foremost companies in artificial intelligence, right? So during 1970s and 80s, it started very small, and by the time it was 2000, there was a considerable uh, resources that were catered to these artificial intelligence and the cloud and the other kinds of databases that are there. So, what did IBM do at that time? It cut down on everything. It said, let's only focus on DB2. Let's only focus on server side technology. Let's only focus on big servers. Let's not go into PC. So they laid off a lot of people, and it just became so badly managed because no new technologies were created, no new avenues of revenue were created, and this dwindled their ability to run ahead of their competitors. Then very small companies from their standards, like Google, like Microsoft, like Facebook, all of these small companies started evolving right from 2002, and they became trillion-dollar companies. Whereas IBM tried to play it very safe. They Once you remove employees, once you remove the effort in trying to do things, then the others will also stop. Other employees will also try to uh, pull back on what they need to do. Remember, I told you, if the employee is not happy, if the employee thinks that they are going to be fired or they are going to be in some way in a big jeopardy, they don't take risk. They will try to play safe, and they will pull back from what they are doing. So the big enterprises, the failures of very big enterprises happens at that time, when the innovation is killed, when the innovation is not up to the mark or ahead of the time. That's when the whole thing start crumbling. And only recently, again at 2015 or 2014, they started back into this cloud, they started back into AI and other things, and they implemented heavily on Watson. But by that time, there were other companies that have already got leverage, a leapfrog ahead of IBM. So the effort that they could have sustained would have made them into a very big leaders. But what they did instead, they laid off a lot of people. They laid off going into new technologies. They laid off. They pulled back from all the things. So even their PC business, they had to sell it around 2015 or some time frame, 2015, 2014 time frame, to Lenovo, a Chinese company. So they became very slim in order to survive, and now that slimness has become their. They thought they were getting lean and trim, but instead they were cutting down their. See, there is two ways of getting lean. One is to do exercise, and the one is to stop eating. So IBM stopped eating, and it became very thin, and now it should have been far ahead of the competitors. Now it's having a lot of competitors that it has to deal with, and it's limping around when you compare it with Facebook, or when you compare it with Apple. It's not a $1 trillion company. It could have been a $1 trillion company, but it's not. Microsoft is, Apple is, Amazon is, because they have done innovations even during tough times. So it all depends, when the tough times are coming, how you adapt and transform, and how you keep your folk together and move as a team. That's more important than saying, okay, I want to survive, let's cut down everything and let's survive. So with the finances, you can survive for long, but then you won't be in the same zone that you were in before. The other company that comes into mind is Nortel Networks. It also did the same. It went the same playbook, right? It cut down on human resources. It cut down on innovation. It cut down on so many other things that the patent filing came down very less, and it lost the trust of its customers. See, the customer's trust is the most important thing. You lose it, and you are no longer in the business. However big you are, if you lose your customers' attention, if you lose your customer, even every customer understands that you're going through tough time. But when you are going through tough time, you show up your best face. You show up yourself as a company that can serve them. That's when the things will turn around. That's when the things will start coming out, because customers also want many businesses to help them, not just one or two. So from their perspective also, they want all the businesses to survive. But only those businesses survive where they have the customers focus, customers attention, customers trust. They are very, very important. So in these tough times, don't lose your customers, don't lose their focus. And they understand that you are in a very tough situation. So even during tough situation, you show up, you deliver things on a promised basis, then your ability to run business will be very huge. So hopefully this segment is the small half an hour that we have talked about. You do go and do your own research of how Amazon came out of the crisis, how IBM dealt with crisis. You understand these things, and then you adapt to your own small company. Your scale need not be that of Amazon, but you can just understand how you can help yourself by coming out of this bad situation, and you will come out of the bad situation. This is going to end. This is going to even if corona is there for say 10-15 years or whatever, once you understand how to live with it, once you are able to cautiously move around, then I think it's like another flu where you can deal with it and be safe from it. So hopefully you will be on the. We'll meet you hale and healthy on, and going forward you'll prosper more. Thank you, and you have a wonderful weekend.